As Godrun, it is time for the Qimir / the Stranger Conquest guide. I took some feedback from the last one. I've made a lot of changes to the format, so we're going to go through each section one at a time and then show you the master list. So this might be longer than the previous ones, but hopefully it's so much more in depth that it really helps you guys out. So we'll go through the global feats. I'm going to go through the teams and characters for the global feats, and then we'll go through sector 1, all that. And then at the end, I'll show you my master teams list for my main and my alt account, just like I always do. So you're going to get all the feat information, one group per. Then you'll get the full, here's one team that I'm going to use in sector 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's going to do all these feats, and hopefully it's all really helpful. But we'll start with the global feats, and then we'll work our way into sector 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Defeat 250 enemies on the Golden Challenge path. No specific team for that one. And I'm going to read all these and then show you the teams. Win 20 battles with at least 4 dark side clones on your squad. Attempt to inflict evasion down 80 times. Win 20 battles with a full squad of Galactic Republic. Evade at least 200 attacks in battles you won. And then that gives you the booming voice disc. And then you get the 15 from using your booming voice disc. Gain profit 100 times. It gives you a tech. And then using the tech, it gives you the other 15 key cards. And then there is one key card tied to a Hondo Lando Dash title. The Outlaw title is a cool title. You can't quite read it because of my head, but Outlaw title. But yeah, so let's get into the teams then here. I'll hide that. So for our, we're going to work top to the bottom. So the first one was win 20 battles with at least 4 dark side clone troopers in your squad. So if you have your dark side clones geared, I recommend run them with Lord Vader. If you don't have Lord Vader, run them with Tarkin. But if you have them geared, you're all good. Nothing real confusing there. If you don't have them geared, I recommend you put them with Sith Eternal Emperor, because you should be able to put him into the First Order or the Bounty Hunter node in Sector 1, the bonus Datacron node, and you should be able to pretty consistently win with a bunch of garbage clones with Sith Eternal by himself. And you may be able to find other solo lead opportunities, but Sith Eternal is the first one that comes to mind as something you're not going to use anywhere else, but can help you with this feat. Next up is inflict evasion down 80 times. We got a few different recommendations for that. So I've got Malgus, which is going to get you a bunch of evasion down via Basilisk Sean Fallen. And you can also use Darth Revan if you don't have Malgus, that's fine. Then you've got Commander Luke, 3PO and Chewie apply evasion down on the basics. So this is going to be a huge churn and burn. Tons of evasion down here with a little bit to supplement here. And then just so you know, some other evasion down characters. Zam Wessel has an AoE evasion down. Old Ben has evasion down on his basic. You can call him to assist with like Jedi Master Luke. And then Haldo has an AoE evasion down as well. You're not going to have problems with your evasion down feat though if you run either one of these two teams. But if you need to supplement, here's some extra characters. Next up, win 20 battles with full Galactic Republic. General Skywalker and JMK are going to be your bread and butter for that one. But if you don't have either and you do have Padme, I'm sure you can make Padme lead work, but you're definitely going to have to stay in the earlier sectors. But both of these will help a little bit toward another one we'll talk about in a little bit. So other than your full Galactic Republic battles, there's also evade at least 200 attacks in battles you won. You're going to get this naturally just from playing because you're going to have things like blind and foresight and just natural dodges floating around. I wager when you finish all of the sectors, you'll have at least 100 just naturally, and then it's just a matter of if you want to try to scam your way for some extra ones throughout. But JMK is going to get you a ton because GK is passing around foresight, JMK is giving around foresight. You're going to have blind on things like 3PO and Chewie. You're going to have foresight at the start of the battle with like Malgus on 2 characters. So every time you do this, you're getting at least 2, plus you got a blind. Every time you do this, you're probably getting a bunch too. So you'll get a lot of the evades naturally. But if you need any extra evades, don't forget characters like Grandmaster Yoda, Hermit Yoda, and things like, Bastila can pass around buffs to Yoda. So this is just an extra team you can put together. You can run this on like a Datacron node and just farm up some extra Mace and Yoda and Hermit Yoda all giving out foresight, and Bastila keeping Yoda taking turns. You'll quickly rack up some extra foresight without needing to use like a JML that you're going to need for some other feats probably. Gain profit 100 times. This is going to be a hard one for people, I think. So if you have like Maz and a bunch of pirates geared, it'll be easy, right? Just use Maz, and you're not going to have a problem there. If you don't, and you've got, maybe some random AFA requirements, or maybe you're working on Hondo and you got a couple pirates, but not all of them yet, this is the lineup I think I've landed to recommend. So Athanio's lead at the start of the turn, if a pirate has more buffs than debuffs, they gain 1 stack of profit max 5. And a Thonyo gains 1 stack. And so, yeah, hopefully, like, you just throw this in there and you can gain a little bit of profit. Hondo's going to get some profit on his own anyway with his buffs that he's got. I'm trying to remember where it is, but he basically he gets outmaneuvered and all those other things. So Hondo's going to rack up a ton. Brutus gets profit on his basic. So if target is already breached, they gain speed up for 2 turns and he gains 1 stack profit. So he gets a breach and then gets some profit off that. It'll be real slow going to get 100, but if you need to try to force that one, then that's fine. Remember, you can skip 34 keycards worth of feats. However, I get the feeling this profit feat will be easier than one of the Sector 5 feats we'll talk about later. I would try to make this one work if at all possible. I think this team will work. If Conquest starts and it doesn't, I'll let you know, because I'll be running something similar to this on my second account where I also don't have Maz geared. I do have her unlocked, so I can still use her lead, but she's not geared. And we'll show the full teams once we get to the next one. So, all right, let's get to Sector 1. All right, and let's look at Sector 1 now. So, attempt to inflict stagger 60 times, win 10 battles with a full squad of tanks, win 10 battles with Brutus, surviving, and attempt to inflict buff immunity 40 times. All in all, these won't be too bad. We'll look at the squads here in just a moment, but just so you're aware of what the boss and mini-boss feats are, although I don't recommend certain squads for those typically. Win with Kicks in your squad, win with Jocasta New in your squad, win with weird combination of characters, because from what I've been told, the raid bosses are actually the old raid bosses, so it's things from the old Pit and HAT and HSTR raids, and these are old lineups that used to be ran during those raids back in the day. So we'll see. It's going to be fun. And then win using only Commander Luke. So yeah, Commander Luke used to really dunk on the Rancor back in the day. So those will be fun. I don't know how easy or hard they're going to be yet. As soon as I can get to those, we'll toss together a video of me doing them and say, hey, here's how you do this. But either way, let's look at our Sector 1 teams now. So, we need to inflict stagger 60 times. I recommend, again, Malgus. Bastel is going to be putting stagger around, and you'll work through very quickly, and you'll also get some of your global feat progress that we talked about earlier. But I'm not talking about overlapping feats right now. We're just going to focus on stagger. So, next up, we've got Palpatine, also going to be inflicting stagger for us with Mara Jade. Mara with an AoE stagger is a fantastic source of stagger. If you need more stagger than those teams, Krennic has an AoE stagger, Sabine has an AoE stagger, Scout Trooper, AoE stagger, and Veteran Smuggler Han stagger on the basic. So you've got lots of options here. Stagger's not going to be one you struggle with. Win 10 battles with full squad of tanks. This one might be kind of challenging. I ran some different team comps thinking about what would be best. This is what I eventually landed on, was the Leia team. If you have enough Rebel tanks, this is probably your best bet. If you can avoid not using JML. If you can use JML, it's fine. But if you're having to use JML for these other feats, so essentially I said, okay, if you can spare a JML, there he is, that's going to be your easiest, because the granted ability, you're just going to kill everything, right? Thankfully, though, this is still Sector 1, so even on my second account, I'm going to try to run this with only a Relic, Leia, Old Ben, and then Gear 11, Gear 10 for my other 3 tanks. Because it's only in Sector 1, I think Leia and Old Ben can 2-man it, but it will be challenging. This is going to be a hard one for people if you don't have Leia or JML. There's not a lot of great options. At that point, you probably need to just run random Sith with like Malgus and Malak and just pray that Malgus and Malak can just solo like the First Order node, First Order Datacron node at the end of Sector 1. So this is a hard one. I apologize for not putting that one in here for the Sith team. Hopefully you have one of these though, but again, if you don't, I would try, I don't know what lead, but just Malak and Malgus with 3 other tanks and see if you can get it. But hopefully you have one of these 2 and you can go from there. Next up, 10 battles with Brutus, surviving. If you have proper pirates, obviously you can run them in a proper pirate team, but assuming you don't, which a lot of people won't, you can do JML, Cal, Luke, Watt, Brutus. You can also do JML, Jedi Revan, Luke, Watt, Brutus. This is the standard JML Cheese Survive team. You guys have seen it 100 times before. This is always my recommended for Cheese Survives. So you go from there. Buff immunity 40 times. Man, Grievous is going to run it. B2 gets triggered. He AoEs like crazy. 5 buff immunities each time. 40 times. You only need 8 AoEs. 8 AoEs with B2 and he gets triggered every 2 seconds, this is going to take a few battles with Grievous. Even if you don't have them all geared up, it's fine. Just toss B2 under some random separatist and start AoEing. He'll get it in no time. JML also has buff immunity on his basic if you really need a little more. And then we've got some other options. Bastila, Cassian, Darth, Revan, Echo, and Anakin, all with also buff immunities. Echo on special, Anakin on basic, Revan on basic, Cassian on basic, and Bastila on a special. So that covers Sector 1. Let's get over to Sector 2. All right, Sector 2. We've got take 50 bonus turns, win 10 battles with Captain Swgoh Events surviving, attempt to inflict daze 40 times, win 10 battles without losing any units, and then we won't cover specific teams, but for the mini-boss, it's win with full squad of pirates, which might be challenging. We'll see what the boss is. Win with Jedi Master Mace Windu in your squad. If you have him, you have him. If you don't, that's unfortunately 2 key cards you'll probably lose. Win only using Kylo Ren. To be clear, that is referring to the hunched over Kylo Ren, the oldest one we have in the game. Not Kylo Ren Unmasked and not Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Then when using Darth Vader, Wampa, Grand Admiral Thrawn, BB-8, and Commander Luke, I believe this is going to be the HAAT tank boss. Because I remember running that team a long time ago. So that's going to be fun. But either way, let's get into the teams recommended for this one. So, Sector 2, back to what I was looking at here. Take 50 bonus turns. Emperor Palpatine, Darth Vader, Mara Jade, Piet, and Thrawn. That's a lot of bonus turns. Darth Vader can be taken a ton per battle. I would also like to mention, we said that there's an attempt to inflict daze 40 times. Piet has an AoE daze, so this team is going to be getting you bonus turns and dazes. It's going to be great. More bonus turns. We've got Jedi Master Luke, Giant Revan, Giant Luke, Giant Cal, and Ezra. Ezra has 1 bonus turn he passes, and Cal will give out bonus turns to himself. Every single time he uses a basic, he takes 1 bonus turn, which he has to use basic right at the start. So every time Cal takes a turn, there's 1, and then every other turn he can give someone else 1. So Cal's going to average out to 1.5 bonus turns per turn that he takes. So between these two, you'll very quickly get it. But if you need to use JML here, don't worry. I'm sure Palpatine can get most of your bonus turns done for you. So for Swgoh Events surviving, this will be a hard surviving feat to do because it is 2 characters. So I recommend JML, JKL, Watt, and then the 2. JKL for the AoE stun, Watt to give the tank tech to JML. You guys know how this works at this point with the survive feats. But you could also try Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, Rey Darkside Visions, Kylo Ren Unmasked, and the 2, because since it is still full dark side, SLK can quickly get the advantage up to give Kylo Ren a mass taunt, and then you can go from there. You may have to do Hux instead of Rey to start with the taunt. This is why I recommend this one, only if they have a little bit of gear. So I would say Gear 11 plus with mods, you can probably make this one work. If you're lower than Gear 11 plus, you're probably going to definitely have to use JML. And you'll need to obviously find a team without an AoE. I think that goes without saying. More daze options. We've got Lord Vader with Darkside Clones. One of our global wants that, whether that's Tarkin or Lord Vader. Well, Lord Vader's our daze, right? So he's got AoE daze. Boom, 5 dazes. And you're going to win battles and contribute to your global feat. We also have Harrison Dula with Captain Rex. I know a lot of people bought that Phoenix Lightspeed bundle. Captain Rex has an AoE daze, which is phenomenal. And lots of turn meter. It's a good team. Very survivable and durable in Conquest. Also threw Zeb in the last spot because he has a daze on basic. But Sabine is the more optimal member for winning battles. So if you want to swap Zeb for Sabine, that's fine. But you will get a little more dazes with Zeb in there if you can win. Extra characters with dazes. We've got Echo with a mass daze, Darth Maul with a mass daze, Dash Rendar, which is always popular for a mass daze, Infus Nest for a mass daze, and General Anakin Skywalker with a mass daze, who is one of our global feats. So that'll also help push that when you're doing the full 501st Galactic Republic feat. So that's my teams for Sector 2. Let's go look at Sector 3. All right, in Sector 3, we've got attempt to inflict disarm 15 times, win 10 battles, SM-33 surviving, which is no coincidence that SM-33 inflicts disarm, which is great. Attempt to inflict blind 80 times and defeat 35 enemies with clone troopers. Again, we'll briefly look at the mini-boss and boss seats. Win with Maz Kanata in your squad. Yeah, that one always sucks for people. It means you needed to red crate the entire last Conquest to be able to get this, so that's unfortunate. Win with Balan Skull in your squad, and then win with Chief Chirpa, Palpatine, Royal Guard, Sunfac, and Stormtrooper Run. Not sure which boss that is. And then win with only using Savage Oppress. Let's take a look at our teams for this one. So for Sector 3, for our disarm blind... Oh, sorry. Need to hide the thing. For our disarm and our blind, I've got Jabba the Hutt being recommended here because Chrysanthemum actually has disarm and Jabba has blind on the basic. So this is a strong powerhouse team, able to kill good teams in the Conquest nodes as you push along, and is going to really contribute to a lot of blind and disarm. Disarm SM-33 survive if you have good enough pirates. You can use SM-33 with Athonio. You can work on your pirate, your Prophet Global, as well as get your disarm and your SM-33 survival at once. It'll be great. Assuming you don't, though, we'll keep looking at more options. Clone kills and disarm. Well, Darkside clones are clones, right? CX2 has disarm on a special ability, so you can work on your clone kills and your disarms at the same time. Going to be a great one if you have Darkside clones. They've been really instrumental, as you've seen a couple times now for this Conquest. We've got SM-33 disarm and blind here as well. Giant Luke has a blind on a special, very tiny amount of blind. Wouldn't consider this a large source of your blinding. And then our SM-33 survive cheese with JML. All you need to do is make sure his ability is high enough. It doesn't require the Zeta to get the disarm, so just toss him under JML. You can still get some disarms, and your SM-33 survives with JML cheesing. But as you've noticed so far, there's a lot of JML cheesing happening. It's going to be tight. Hopefully you can maybe make the SLK thing work in the last sector with the Silva and Vane. And it's less painful because JML is really going to be tired. His stamina is going to be just permanently low. Once you start dropping below 50, it gets hard to win your battles. So hopefully we're able to make that first order one work. Or maybe you've got some pirates geared, maybe SM-33's geared, and you've been using them with Afra or something, and you don't have to do this one. All right. Blind 80 times again. 3PO and Chewie's going to probably be, him and Jabba will be your best sources of blind. 3PO's AoE there blinding the entire team. 3PO and Chewie's AoE blinding the entire team. So that's 5 if you can get it off before you kill anyone, which sometimes can be hard. Sometimes you just wind up wiping the team so fast you don't even get to. And then General Skywalker with clones. For more clone kills now, I will say he is going to take a lot of your kills. It's a little unfortunate. Lord Vader might do the same thing up there. But fortunately, we have a full Galactic Republic feat in the globals. So you can work on your full Galactic Republic feat while that happens. If you're on a particularly easy team, Shock T lead, she's not going to steal any kills. So you can swap out General Skywalker for Shock T and still progress all the same feats, just with less kill stealing, but more than likely, you might need General Skywalker just to make sure you're winning the battles cleanly and you're not losing any characters. All right, let's go look at Sector 4. All right, in Sector 4, we've got win 10 battles with Quiggled surviving, gain evasion up 60 times, win 10 battles with no tanks. Gee, thanks, make us gear up these tanks and give us a no tank feat, am I right? And then inflict at least 300 damage over time effects on enemies with an ability, meaning natural occurring dots. Clarifying basically that like caustic emissions doesn't work, right? And then your mini boss and boss feats. Win a battle with Pirate King Hondo Onaga surviving. Gee, thanks, CG. There's 3 key cards that 99% of people can't get. I can't even get that on my main account. Win without using any tanks in your squad. For once, you can do that with the Sector feat, which is great. Win using Commander Cody, 5, CT 210408 Echo, Clone Sergeant, and Princess Leia. And then win using Finn, Podam, Resistance Pilot, Resistance Trooper, and R2-D2. That sounds like an HAT phase, but I'm not entirely sure. All right, let's go take a look at the teams for our Sector 4. So we've got our Quiggled surviving here. Classic JML cheese we've been doing this whole time. Again, JML is going to be tired. Explore other options if you have to. Rey with a tank that you can put the tank tech on is an option. Like Rey, Resistance Hero Finn, Admiral Holdo, put the tank tech on Holdo, beef her up with Rey, and try to survive. It's much harder. But something you can try to do. But at the end of the day, JML should have enough stamina to be able to do all these, so long as you're not actually submitting battles where the character you need to survive dies. But it's a lot. JML is going to be responsible for 40, 50 battles. It's going to be hard, but you can still do 4-ish per day and get it done before the end. All right, Sorry, I minimized the feats. I need to see those to be able to read stuff to you. All right, gain evasion up 60 times. Commander Luke, again, coming in huge for us. Han Solo gives evasion up to the entire team on Never Tell Me the Odds. And we've got here a Grand Inquisitor team. I know what you're thinking. Can that win? Grand Inquisitor normally does extremely well even without Riva in Conquest. So he should still be able to win even without Riva. You can do Grand Inquisitor 5th, 8th, and 7th. If you don't have Marak, you can put Second Sister. If you have Marak, just put Marak in there instead of Second Sister. Still not a tank. And Seventh Sister gives evasion up to the entire team on her heal, which you'll be using like crazy because she gets triggered a ton, as well as, again, being no tank. So you got 2 evasion up, no tank teams that I can highly recommend. You can finish both those before you even get to the end of the sector. Dots. Whether you got clones or not, LV is going to be your big dots man. He's got a big AoE dot that's going to do so much damage and win you battles and put dots on the enemy team. And like we had earlier, we've got the same Emperor Palpatine team that's also going to be a great source of dots with Darth Vader. So you've got 2 good dot teams as well, one being more accessible than the other, obviously, but hopefully, if you're looking at max creating, you've got at least one of these. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at Sector 5. All right, Sector 5, win 10 battles with CX2 surviving. Attempt to inflict tenacity down 60 times. Attempt to inflict defense down 60 times. Win 10 battles with a full squad of pirates. Again, no teams for these, but let's look at the mini-boss and boss beats. When using Asajj, Mother Talus, and Old Doc Italian, Knights or Zombie. That sounds like HSTR Treya. That's going to be the Treya tier of the raid. CG, I see what you're doing. It's going to be the Treya Phase 3 of the Sith Triumvirate raid. When using General Hux, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, Kylo Ren Unmasked, and Grand Admiral Thrawn. And then the boss, when using Commander Luke, Han Solo, Pouch, Root, and Death Trooper. Not sure on that one. Arsing, Nest, Imbo, Dengar, Greedo. Sounds like an HAT phase, but I'm not positive. Could be the final. I don't know. I don't know. Hard to say. All right, let's go take a look at the teams for this one. So for CX2 surviving, again, we've got Lord Vader with the clones because they're needed for so much of this raid, and this is another great opportunity to make use of them. But if you're a little low on stamina from the previous phase, sorry, I'm just trying to get this window so I can read the feats while I read them to you, but it's being weird. Windows, stop it. Thank you. All right, you've got Lord Vader you can use, but if you're a little low on stamina from the previous phase, you can just chuck him here with JML and do it. But JML is going to need that stamina more than Lord Vader, I promise. So more than likely, you'll just kind of be waiting it out and using this one once you get stamina back with Lord Vader. It won't take too long. It's just 10 battles, and it'll be okay. All right. Tenacity down, defense down here from our Commander Luke team. We got a little bit of defense down on the squad, as well as tenacity down coming from Chewbacca's basic. The defense down, I believe, is Commander Luke's basic. Yep. So Commander Luke basic for defense down, tenacity down from Chewbacca. Obviously, Chewbacca is going to hit way more than Luke does. Tenacity down also on Captain Rex's AoE here on Phoenix, so another great use for your Phoenix LSP if you have that. Other tenacity down options, you've got Mara Jade has an AoE tenacity down. Darth Malak has tenacity down on his basic. HK-47 tenacity down on an AoE. Kylo Ren Unmasked tenacity down on the basic. Geonosian Soldier tenacity down on the basic. So tons of tenacity down options for you guys. Will find a great way to do that. Defense down, if you have them. Gungans, Boss Nass has an AoE defense down, and then 2 of them had defense down on special abilities or basics. So you got a ton of defense down. Gungans will be your absolute best source of defense down if you have them, but if you're not, fear not, we've got options. Just like, Commander Luke basic here, and then Ninth Sister has defense down on Ground Pound on this ability, but it is locked behind, it's not locked behind the Zeta. This is not the Zeta tier. Cool. So you've got defense down, and Inquisitors here. You can use Riva in this tier, so no fear there. You'll not have any trouble winning, as well as have a good defense down option. Other options for defense down, you've got Dash Rendar's AoE has defense down. Bausch Leia has defense down on her basic. So let me rephrase. If the ally in the leader is Hutt Cartel, can be evaded. If the ally leader is a bounty hunter, inflict defense down. And then if it's Bausch's turn and the ally in the leader is on a smuggler, attack again. AKA, if it's Jabba and it's her turn, attack twice, 2 defense downs. Done. Easy peasy. So you can just run a full Jabba team as well, and I'm going to do that on my second account. I'll be running a full Jabba team to get me some of those. Asajj Ventress has defense down on AoE. Sith Trooper has defense down on AoE. And then Colonel Stark has defense down, I believe, on his basics, so you could even run a Trooper team if you find something easy. But in Sector 5, it might be really hard to get your Trooper team going, so that might be a hard one. All right, win 10 battles with full squad of pirates. This will be one a lot of you guys skip, because this is Sector 5. You need a juiced up team to win in Sector 5 with pirates. I don't know if the second team's going to cut it. There's no way to know until we can get in there and test. Even at Relics, I don't know if that wins. I'm going to be completely honest. All right, Team 1, Maz, SM33, Athanio, Kicks, Quiggle. This is going to be your creme de la creme of pirate teams. This is going to come in here and win with Maz. Hopefully, it is a good team. Maybe you got to find some weaker teams. The Datacron note at the end is just random Jedi, so hopefully you can at least take that down with Maz. I don't know if Athanio, Hondo, Kicks, Nest, Quiggle will be enough. I really don't. I wish I could say that I did. I recommend, if you can spare the 15 keycards, to skip pirate, full pirate feat if you don't have them. If you have pirates geared at relics, it's fine. Like, maybe this works even without Maz, right? Like, if you have them at relics, maybe it's fine. If you don't have them at relics and you don't have Maz, I would not attempt this feat. I would make sure you can get all your keycards somewhere else. You can skip 34, minus 15 here, make sure you get everything else, minus the boss and mini-boss feats you might not be able to get, and then go from there. All right, and now we're going to take a second, and I'm going to pull up my Master Teams list, and we'll go through the Master Teams for everything. I'm not going to go for every single individual feat for the Master Teams list, but I will show you all the teams and what sectors I'm using those teams in. And if you watch the whole video, you're going to quickly be able to associate those connections on the sectors as well as the feats. All right, so this is my Master Teams list. These are the teams, when I play Conquest, that I'm going to click on this list. I'm going to pick, go into battle with this team, go to battle with this team, go into battle with this team every day for the next 3 months when we do Conquest. Lord Vader Dark Side Clones get you global feats, feat or feats in Sector 2, 3, 4, and 5. Malgus, global in Sector 1. Commander Luke, global Sector 3, 4, and 5. General Skywalker, global in Sector 3. I didn't note the days potential here as well. Let me quickly remind us what the days sector was. That was Sector 2, so you could also run him for dazes in Sector 2, and I'm going to add that here as well. Apologies that it wasn't already here. But you can also run him in Sector 2 for dazes. We've got Jedi Master Kenobi running the Global Galactic Republic feat and the Evade. We've got Maz doing Global, Sector 1, Sector 3, Sector 5, so that's going to be various Survive feats of members of the squad, as well as Full Pirates in Sector 5, Prophet for the Global, and then Disarm as well on the SM-33 Survive one. Emperor Palpatine, Mara, Piet. Sector 1, Sector 2, Sector 4, that's going to be Tenacity down, Damage over times, and Dazes for those. Sector 1, that's the full tank. That's going to be our Leia thing that we talked about. That's what I'm going to run. I'm going to get all mine done with this team. Buff immunity, Sector 1, I'm going to run the Grievous would be 2 here. Swgoh Events Survive, I plan to run JML. For Sector 2, for Jabba, Sector 3, Sector 5, it's going to be defense down from Bouch Leia, as well as blind and disarm in Sector 3. Sector 4, that's going to be full pirates, but swapped in, who did I switch in? Because that's whoever the Survive is for. Looks like that's maybe a Quiggled Survive, right? Yep, Quiggled Survive in Sector 4, swapped in Quiggled to be able to run on my pirates. So when I'm doing pirate battles in Sector 4, I use Quiggled, so I give them Quiggled Survives. Sector 4, this is the Inquisitor, Evasion down, no tanks team that we talked about, or sorry, Evasion up, no tanks team that we talked about. And then Sector 5 to ice off my defense down when I've got my Gungans. So these teams, these like 15 teams, will get me every single feat in Conquest with no skips. If you've got the exact same teams, feel free to copy paste, and you're done. You're done. Punch them in, remember when to use them where, and you'll be all good to go. But we're not done. Let's show you my second account, because that one's a lot closer to you guys. It's not 13.8 million. It's a lot closer to what you guys have and much further away on the pirates. So give me just a moment. Let's pull up my second account. All right, so this is my second account. It's 11.4 million, 2 million smaller than my main account. Be a little different, but very similar. Same thing, Lord Vader, Malgus, CLS, General Skywalker, and that. But my global for profit, I don't have Maz up, so it's going to be Athanio, Hondo, Quiggle, Kicks, and Brutus. It's going to be tough. But I think in Sector 1 I can get my profit with this team, and it'll take a while, but I'll get it and be happy. But I will need to do JML cheese for most of the other things that you didn't see on my main account. Same Palpatine team. I hope that Leia can do this. It's going to be really difficult with these tanks. I have no Carbantes at all and no stun cuffs. So I couldn't get them even if I wanted to. So we're going to make Leia work because I can't spare JML. We'll make Leia work on one of the bonus nodes. I believe she can do it. All right, we've got B2 here with Grievous doing our buff immunities again, and then we've got the Brutus surviving being done via JML, which is why I can't use JML for the no tanks. Sector 2, I'm going to try to make the SLKR thing work like I discussed with Swgoh and Vayne. I need to mod them still. They've not been given mods, but he has. But Swgoh needs some mods, and then we'll be good to go there. Jabba's going to get me the same feats as the other account, except I don't have Gungans here, so this will be my main defense down team, will be Jabba. Sector 3, we've got JML doing the SM33 survives with some disarms here as well. Sector 4, JML's doing the Quiggled survives. Same Inquisitor team here, and then Reva here as well in Sector 5 helping with defense down. So we've got Reva helping with defense down here, and then the Jabba also getting defense down. And I need to add our Sector 2 tag as well to the General Skywalker one on this account, if nothing else, for me to use. So you can see the adjustments I made. No big super pirate team with mods, just spread out doing our JML cheese with survives. So this is about 18 or 19 teams, I think. So it's a little bigger than the other, but probably closer to what you guys will need to duplicate. So I encourage you again to just copy this one. And if you have any questions, let me know. If I missed any super obvious speed things, let me know. I tried to make this my most in-depth Conquest guide yet. And once we get into Conquest and we do these weird boss feats and mini-boss feats, I'll do my best to probably make videos showing how to do that if it's something you guys want to see. Otherwise, if you guys have any questions, comments, anything, let me know. This is always a huge video. It takes me about 3 days to make one of these Conquest guides. I spend a day doing all my feat research and building teams, about a day recording and editing, and then doing all the final touches and everything, getting things up on YouTube, thumbnail, all that jazz. It's always one of the most, it's one of the highest volume of work videos I put together every few months. So it means a lot to always, get so much support from you guys. It's always one of my best videos in terms of quality as well as reception from the community. So I appreciate you guys watching, appreciate you being here. If I missed any yawns, I'm sorry. I tried to edit everything out that I possibly could, but I might miss something. Again, any comments, questions, please let me know. If there was a feat that I didn't cover, something you had for the feat, please let me know. Maybe give me your ally code in a comment. You may need to break it up because YouTube may think it's a phone number, so just find some way to leave your ally code in a comment and say, hey, I wasn't able to make this feat work with the teams you gave. I'll pull up your roster and I'll find something for you to use for the feat, and I'll recommend it to you. Just let me know if you have any issues. Again, good luck, everyone. The Stranger looks like a super awesome Conquest character, one of the strongest we've gotten in a long time, and I hope you guys can all get him. If not, in the first 2 Conquests before he leaves rotation, and I'll see you guys in the next one.